when this rescue dog suddenly lost it right by a little girl. Her grandma stepped in to protect her. Molly DeLuca was playing outside alone with the family's new rescue dog, House, when the little girl let out a terrifying cry. The family then rushed out to the yard, where a horrifying scene met them. At first, they saw the dog's erratic behavior. Then, they saw the blood. Adam and Danya DeLuca live in Tampa, Florida, with their 2 children, 7-year-old Molly and their younger brother, Joey. For a long while, they also lived with a German Shepherd mixed rescue dog called Bailey. That furry family member meant the world to Danya. After all, Bailey had been with Danya for the most emotional moments of her life until his passing in March 2019. So just days after his death, she decided to rescue again. "I knew I had to do something good with Bailey's loss," Danya wrote on Facebook. Despite Adam's initial reluctance, he went along with his wife's wishes, and they adopted a German Shepherd called House. The family's fears about the adoption being premature were immediately forgotten, though. Danya described the transition in an interview with the Today Show. "House just bonded with all of us so quickly," Danya reported. "It was like he was always part of our home. Even the neighbors took to him. It was meant to be. The dog especially loved the children, it seemed, and he took it upon himself to make sure that they were safe." The mom of 2 elaborated, "Especially at night, he's very protective of the kids. He follows them around, he takes care of them." Additionally, Danya told ABC News that it's common practice for House to patrol the garden with the intention of guarding his charges. So, 2 months after his adoption, House accompanied little Molly when she wandered outside into the DeLucas' yard. Molly then went to gather up dog toys in the garden, and the big German Shepherd continued to follow her. However, something other than chew toys was lurking in the grass that day. As Molly's grandmother watched from the doorway, House started acting in a strange way. She observed him leaping at something in the vegetation several times, but each time he recoiled as if struck. Consequently, Grandma DeLuca went over to investigate. That's when Molly's grandma noticed that House had shielded the little girl from an eastern diamondback rattlesnake. These diamondbacks are not only the biggest and heaviest rattlesnakes in the US, but they're also North America's deadliest serpents. One report even suggested that for humans, their bite has a 30% chance of ending in a fatality. Although diamondbacks are not normally violent by nature, this one clashed with House, who fought to protect Molly. Yes, the erratic behavior that Grandma DeLuca witnessed was House attacking the snake. She also saw the dog recoiling from the serpent's bite when the diamondback sank its fangs into him. For Molly's part, the whole ordeal terrified her. "I was really scared," she told ABC News. Her mother added, "Molly wasn't particularly paying attention, but she saw the aftermath." Still, what the little girl had experienced could have been traumatic. According to Grandma DeLuca, though, the diamondback's bite left House's leg pouring blood, and despite being stood up, House couldn't hold any weight on his front paw. Minutes later, the dog's condition had deteriorated to the point where he couldn't remain upright. Even more worryingly, Molly's grandmother could barely tell if House was breathing as he was salivating uncontrollably. So after making sure Molly was okay, she took House to an emergency veterinary surgery. Luckily, it was close by, and the vet began immediate snakebite treatment on the German Shepherd. Danya then joined her daughter and mother at the Tampa Bay Veterinary Clinic, where the vets revealed some news. Usually, they say if a snake bites a dog, the canine retreats. However, House had apparently been fighting for his family and, as Danya put it, he stood his ground. In fact, Diamondback had bitten House 3 times, flooding his system with venom. He'd absorbed so much of it, in fact, the veterinarians put him on a drip immediately, delivering the equivalent of 9 anti-venom doses. House also required a blood transfusion as a result of the attack. Yet as House's life hung in the balance, the unavoidable vet bills increased beyond affordability for the DeLucas. But his family couldn't just let him die. With that in mind, they set up a crowdfunding page to help with the medical costs. The public later donated far in excess of the DeLucas' $28,000 goal. Their GoFundMe campaign actually reached a whopping $51,000, and luckily, House fought just as hard for his own life as he did for Molly's, and thanks to the vet's prompt treatment, he was preparing to go home just 7 days later. DeLuca couldn't believe how much House had recovered in such short time. "I would almost say it seems miraculous, based on the turnaround we had from last week," she told ABC News. "We're just really happy." So, how is House these days? Well, on May 15th, DeLuca provided an update in response to curious fans. "We've gotten a lot of requests for updates, so I wanted to reach out," she wrote. "House is doing very well. He is happy and healthy with very minimal lasting effects. And now this brave dog is giving back to Heidi's legacy, the local shelter that he came from. The DeLucas are acting as foster parents for dogs in need of a home too, and House is helping them. Even after such a traumatic experience, it seems that you just can't take the hero out of House." Thanks for watching another heartwarming video. Please check out our channel for more stories that will make your heart melt.